Roman, are you ready?
Yes. First of all, Sharmana, thank you very much for having me on, but I really want to thank you for all of the work that you do for the entrepreneurship community. You're a great resource and a mentor, so thank you first.
My pleasure. It's been an honor to work with entrepreneurs for so many years at such scale. So let me introduce you to our audience here. Roman Kikta is our guest today. Normally we would have started with him, but WebEx has created a lot of disruption today. We need to report this to WebEx customer support, technical support. Roman is the managing partner and founder of Mobility Ventures. Roman, welcome to the show. Let's get acquainted.
Well, again, thank you. So let me start off by saying thank you to the entrepreneurs that are listening in today. I really want you to know that I and the venture capital community really appreciates you. The sacrifices that you have made, the dedication, your passion, and perseverance in the pursuit of your dreams of creating startups that are changing our world, thank you. You give us purpose. And I think without entrepreneurs, I would have nothing to do. As simple as that.
So tell us a bit about your background, Roman, and tell us about Mobility Ventures. What are you trying to do? What is the investment thesis?
Sure. So, my own background, I've been in industry for quite a long time. I've gone through various cycles. I've been in wireless, since the 90s. I consider myself to be first and foremost, an anthropologist before I am a technologist. So I really, everything that I do is always grounded in understanding how people live their lives in their environments and the tools that they need for increased productivity or just overall enjoyment. And taking that thesis in mind, we focus at Mobility Ventures on emerging companies, across the wireless and mobile internet ecosystems. We invest in AI, heavily into AI, data sciences, digital media, e-commerce, software solutions, such as location-based services, applications, and so on. Our typical investment in a seed stage is anywhere from $100,000 to up to $4 million over the life of the company. We are a hands-on value-added investor, and we're looking to work with entrepreneurs to help build enduring, significant companies that are going to dominate their space.
Roman, what is the size of the fund?
Yeah, so we have working capital of up to $200 million, and we are a little bit different from other VC funds in that in our latest fund, we have pulled together all of our own money to fund the working capital for our investments. So that's a little bit different. We had institutional capital in the past, but we found that to be a little bit limiting. We look at opportunities globally. So,
hang on. Let's try to understand what is the differentiation. This is what we do in these interviews, is we look at differentiated ideas and, how people are innovating even on the venture capital side. So the $200 million is your personal capital, your and your partner's personal capital?
Right. It is our pooled capital. And what this does not, as you know, a lot of the fund documents sort of limit you to where you can invest by geography. They limit you in the types of investment that you've made because you've pretty much brought in limited partners who have agreed to participate based on certain criteria.
An investment, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you deviate from that plan, you're basically breaching some of the covenants. So, for example, in the past, we were not able to make investments outside of North America. And to us, that was quite limiting because, as we all know, that there's great ideas, great innovation, and great entrepreneurs, that are basically creating companies all over the world. So innovation and entrepreneurship are not exclusive to Silicon Valley, as an example. So we are quite open to, seeking out these opportunities, whether they're in Israel, whether they're in Europe. I have a couple of great companies, Indoor Atlas out of Helsinki, Finland, which does indoor mapping and navigation using the Earth's magnetic fields. They're giving you...
Where are you located, Roman?
Yes.
Where are you located?
I am based in Dallas, Texas, but we are distributed globally. I have partners in Barcelona, the UK, partners also in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and in Latin America, in Sao Paulo. So
how many partners how many partners are bringing in this $200 million of working capital? It sounds like all of them are actually general partners in your funds.
Well, with our fund structure, we have approximately a dozen, and they're coming in, at different levels. But everything that we invest in, we invest as a team, and
what is the source of the capital? What industry have your partners made money in? Is it all wireless? Is that why it's Mobility Ventures?
They've actually made money on. We've all made money in wireless, in fiber networks, in the telecom sector, as well as if you go back to the .com era, 20 years ago. So that's where a lot of the capital came from, the individuals.
Okay, and is the current investment thesis, does that have anything to do with wireless and mobility? Is that why you named the company Mobility?
It does, because what we see is that mobility really is more about that dynamic lifestyle. And, it's just more than networks and applications. It's, right now, if a company doesn't have a mobile or a mobile strategy, I don't think they have a future.
Okay.
This is about connectivity, being connected, always connected. And whether, we're looking at some great strides that are taking place right now in the healthcare sector, especially now with the pandemic, everything is now being connected online virtually. And we're part of that ecosystem. We believe that innovation and excellence...
Your thesis is mobility and connectedness, but that's the industry focus or the business focus, but you want to be geographically diverse. What about B2B versus B2C? Do you do one or the other or both? Primarily we focus on B2B companies, but as you know, a lot of the B2B companies also have applicability to B2C. So, our primary focus is on the B2B, but again, they do have crossover. To give you an example, one of the companies that I'm very bullish in, and I'm actually running, is called Phenometrics, and we're an AI company that decodes humans, the genetic
personality, character traits, behaviors, which we decode strictly from their appearance. So everything about an individual is genetic code. We're serving a variety of industry, everything from online dating to executive search and recruitment, but we're also coming up with a component where we're able to touch the end consumer directly as well.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, so Roman, I'm going to ask you the stage question. As I'm sure you're watching the fragmentation that's happening in the early stage ecosystem, it's no longer just seed and Series A. It's the seed part has really fragmented to, friends and family, pre-seed, seed, post-seed, pre-Series A, small Series A, large Series A. In that continuum, where do you play, and what do you want to see in the earliest stage that you are willing to come into a deal? What do you want to see by way of proof points?
Well, so, our model, since every member, every partner of Mobility Ventures comes from industry. We're all entrepreneurs. We're all corporate guys. We're all people that understand the marketplace. So we bring a slightly different perspective as a financier, not just from as a source of capital, but really as company builders. By having that insight, we have slightly different perspectives. We know, and we don't get involved in an opportunity unless we know what the end game is. We know the industry, we know the marketplace, we have a global ecosystem that will vet an opportunity globally. It's not just about something that will work in the United States. It's got to work on a global scale. So we focus on things where we understand and where we can add value. And I believe it's really imperative that entrepreneurs today choose their investors wisely. You need more than capital. You really need to have a value-added investor. You do this yourself. You provide tremendous amount of insight and perspective to entrepreneurs, and that's because you understand the challenges that they're faced with. You understand the market. So we do the same thing. We believe that you have to bring additional value than just capital.
Yeah. Well, we stress a lot on, just like entrepreneurs are looking for product market fit, we want them to also find investor entrepreneur fit. In any case, investor entrepreneur fit needs to happen for a deal to happen. And, so that has all these different, the reason I'm asking you all these questions about stage and geography and styles of companies, et cetera, that all that is relevant to getting to investor entrepreneur fit. And then there is this additional, what we call unfair advantage. If you can, as an entrepreneur, if you can connect with an investor who also has an unfair advantage in the domain that you're working on, that's a multiplier. That doesn't happen always, but it's a multiplier if it happens.
It is. You have a great platform for entrepreneurs. There are great platforms all over the world. I participate and have for several years, in a event called Slush that takes place in Helsinki every November. And this year, unfortunately, it's not taking place because of COVID. But again, it's an event that attracts 20,000 people. You have a couple thousand VCs from all over the world, and you have thousands of startups. From not only from Europe, but from Africa, from Russia, some also from the United States. But there are a lot of events like that become extremely useful to VCs in sourcing, some of these new opportunities, especially disruptive technologies. But it's also a place for collaboration. And I know with your platform, you have a great platform that, promotes that collaboration. And I believe that when you have entrepreneurs that come together, sometimes great things happen.
So, Roman, next question is really around, further double-clicking down on the entrepreneur-investor fit question around stage. So to write a $100,000 check, not a $4 million check, to write a $100,000 check, what do you want to see in that company? Do you want a product already built? Do you want customers? Do you want paying customers? What is the minimum that you need to see?
Well, it's a couple of things. It's about the value proposition that's created by the entrepreneur. Have they done their homework? Do they know what that value proposition is? What role will they play in the marketplace? How good are they? How conscientious are they? It's not enough to have a great vision. It's also about execution. So we really look at the individuals. We look at the overall viability of that vision. Obviously, we do a lot of market validation. We know who to call, who to talk to see how this opportunity would be placed in the marketplace. It's all about understanding that ecosystem. When you're investing $100,000, I make those bets to see, can this happen? There's always a risk reward.
Let me see if I understand this correctly. You want to understand the investment thesis of the entrepreneur. You want to understand the ecosystem. You want to understand why this company thinks that it can win based on a certain value proposition and a certain competitive landscape. But you don't necessarily, I'm not hearing you say that you want to see the product ready and you're not necessarily asking for paying customers. Is that correct?
Well, that's correct, because look, if you're at a seed stage, and I've backed over the years early on with individuals that had nothing but a PowerPoint presentation, just a vision, and we've helped build companies around them. Indoor Atlas is a case in point. Phenometrics is a case in point. Indoor Atlas was a tech that came out of the University of Oulu in northern Finland, created by a research professor and his students. We built a company around that, and we've done that many times over. But that's what we do. Other investors have other criteria. They want to see paying customers. They want to see the technology developed where, they're not taking a technology development risk. I do not take market risk. I do take a tech development risk. Because we're working with people that are looking to create disruption. And the market has to be there. I'm not looking for someone to create a disruptive technology that's looking for a marketplace. That's a real challenge. So
I kind of agree with you. I think it's solutions looking for problems are much harder to get through to, scale. I think it's much better to start with solving a problem and then, working out how you're going to go to market first before building something. And that's kind of what we practice here in 1Mby1M is you really need to understand what market are you going after and how you're going to position. We focus a lot on positioning.
Yes, absolutely. The biggest challenge...
I sound like you're from Finland originally, yeah?
No, I'm actually American. I've spent 25 years in Finland. I obviously spent a lot of time in Europe, but my own heritage is actually Eastern European. So Ukrainian, Polish, Czechoslovakian, from that part of the world, and that's my heritage. So I speak the languages. I work with the entrepreneurs in the region. There's some brilliant people, as there are all over the world. And what I'm looking for is actually to discover the next big thing. We all strive for that. But I will tell you this. Everybody, as they say, to use that American term, we want to hit a home run, to use a baseball analogy, to get that 10x return or more. But I will tell you, it's also good to get singles and doubles.
Which is actually a great segue into my next question. You can get 10x returns without chasing unicorns. You can get singles and doubles. There are many ways of playing the venture capital game. How are you playing it? Are you chasing unicorns? How are you thinking about your fund strategy?
So, obviously everybody wants to chase a unicorn, but what I've learned over the past 20 years of being an investor, it's okay to, double your money and just walk away from a deal. I've done that a number of times where I was a seed investor in a company. And then for whatever reason, the strategy of the company changed, the dynamics changed. You had other investors that came in and started to take the company in a different direction. So in subsequent rounds, I exited. And though I may have made, 1, 2, 3 times my money, I walked away, and sometimes that was the right decision to do. Down the road, that company, for whatever reason, direction and strategy they went, did not work out, or they took on so much capital that the early guys were so diluted because of the liquidation preferences. I was quite fortunate to, get that single or double and call it a day. Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine. I agree with you. I think, again, the reason it's been so fascinating to, in parallel with all our entrepreneur mentoring, we for many, many years now had this also as a forum for seed investors to come and share what they are doing and what they're looking for. And we've created this wonderful mix of, mingling of people and their perspectives and what they're looking for and so forth. And it's helped us learn a lot about how investors are innovating on their side. And this is one thing that is coming up a lot. You can actually, the truth is, the bulk of the exits in our industry, in the technology industry, happens at the sub $50 million range. So if you can build something capital efficient and exit under 50 million, but still make money, that's actually, it falls probably in your, singles and doubles and kind of range of returns, but that's an okay fund strategy as well. Or the other thing that we're hearing a lot these days is, investors who play the early stage and then exit into a Series B or a Series C before huge amounts of funding comes in and drowns them in liquidation preferences and preferences in general. So I think those are all perfectly fine innovations in the venture capital space.
Absolutely. I think you've covered it quite well. The thing is, it's about always moving forward. And, making a little profit is better than losing a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, and if everybody chased unicorns, there aren't enough unicorns to chase. So you're going to have to find your own, positioning in this marketplace to see how you want to play the game. And that's what we're seeing, that people are being a lot more creative than they used to be earlier on in the history of venture capital. Now that the market is so much more crowded, there's so much more money, there's so many more firms that are playing on the investor side as well. They have to differentiate as well.
Yes.
Well, great. Roman, I'm so happy to connect with you, and I hope we will get to do some work together in upcoming months and years, beginning of a great relationship.
No, thank you, Sherman. I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you. And, you know, I've really enjoyed your comments and perspectives that you were giving the entrepreneurs. So thank you. And I want to extend my best wishes for success to all the entrepreneurs out there. And again, thank you very much.